How's it, guys? So today I'm at a Brangus auction. Now, just hang on a second. So your Brangus is a cross between your Brahman and your Angus. It's a breed that was developed in the USA. The Angus originally comes from Scotland. It's a Scottish breed, while your Brahman is a breed that developed in America from breeds from India. So I'm starting off with this bull because besides the fact that he's a good masculine specimen, he's also quite spicy, and he's been chasing the guys around here in the pens and in the passages. So let's have a look at him for the moment. You can see he has got a good strong masculine head. Look at that neck. Strong, well muscled neck. The fact that he's pawing the ground that way is an indication that he wants to assert his dominance, and he's actually warning me off here. He doesn't like the fact that I'm this close. Beautiful breed, beautiful animal. They're considered a medium frame breed, and the reason they crossed the Brahman with the Angus was to bring in some of the hardiness and heat adaptability from the Brahman, and to include, watch that, he came for me, and to include, of course, the good, brilliant beef qualities of the Angus. This bull's obviously been prepared for this auction. It is a stud auction after all, but this is a beautiful bull. This is really a nice animal, and I must be honest, I don't know much about the Brangus. It's a breed I know of, but not much about. So if I look at this bull and I just make my own conclusions based on what I think I know and based on what I see in front of me, what I like about this breed is they're not a very hairy breed. You can see he's got a fine coat, not a lot of hair on the coat, which is good for external parasites. And that obviously comes from the Brahman. The slight hump on the neck, if he lifts his head, you'll see there's a slight hump on the neck. That is also typically a more Brahman characteristic. These animals should be fairly well adapted to heat, and I was actually speaking to a breeder earlier, and she said to me that she gets very, very good figures. She's a stud breeder, but she gets very, very good calving percentages. So most certainly a breed that seems to be doing well in South Africa. Now, I'm just going to move away from him for the moment. Have a look at some of the other bulls. This is a larger frame bull than the one we just looked at. A shorter, stockier bull. Also a slightly smaller frame, stockier bull. Guys, these animals have been prepared beautifully. They're in beautiful condition. They are stud animals, and I mentioned this in my previous video at the other stud auction. Stud animals are prepared for an auction like this because you're paying a premium price for a premium product. So there's an expectation as to how they should look. So these animals are beautiful, and I don't think you can see it on this one, but this one actually has a unique, nearly like a leopard spotted coat, something I've never seen before. Having a look at this side, another beautiful bull. And what I've seen here is there are 4 different breeders that have supplied animals to this auction. And we often say there's a lot of differences within breeds, and you can most certainly see it here, because each breeder will select within the rules of the association animals according to his preference or his needs. So we're having a look over here. There's some beautiful cows. You can see they haven't been overly conditioned, and that's the way I prefer to see them. Beautiful cows over here. What is interesting, I don't know whether it's the same breeder, but this lot is a lot hairier than that lot over there. This one has a white marking on her back or shoulder, so she she wouldn't score high when it comes to stud, and it doesn't mean that there's a problem with her. It's just a question of they don't want the markings. And then here we have black ones, black Angus, or black Brangus at least. Now the original Anguses were black as far as I know. Somewhere along the line they started breeding for the color red. A couple of red ones popped out and they started breeding for red. And over the years there's been a preference, especially in our country, for red animals. There's no difference in the meat, but in our country red animals are a thing. I've mentioned this before. Now I can't get past this guy to show you the rest because he's too spicy. And I'm not as young and agile as I used to be. But let's look in the back there. Let's see if we can look in the back. So there's another pen of black. I would assume they're heifers. Unfortunately, they haven't put up sufficient information. So I'm not quite sure whether they're heifers or whether they're cows. Pregnant if I look at some of the teats and some of the udders. I like the black ones, guys. I must be honest. I like the black ones. So we said that the Brangus was bred by crossing the Angus with the Brahman. We said that the Angus has very good beef qualities, but are not quite as hardy for our country, and obviously the same in the States. So they crossed the Brahman to make them more heat adapted, and obviously to get a bit of heterosis in, and all the good qualities of the Brahman for that matter. Now if you look at these animals, and I'm hoping I can do it from closer, let's just watch out for the spicy bull. He most certainly isn't friendly. If you look at this pen of animals here, there's a difference in size. And if I were looking to buy animals today and I was looking at buying a Brangus, there are most certainly animals that would be suited to what I'm looking for. There are smaller framed individuals within these pens, and they're the ones I'd be looking for or looking at for myself. Just over here, I can't get close at the moment. That cow moving around the corner there, she's gone into the corner. She's smaller framed than the rest. Now I prefer her to the rest because she's a little bit more feminine. She's got a smoother hair coat. She's a beautiful animal. Now in our country, the Angus has been marketed in terms of beef quality, and often if you go and buy beef from the abattoirs, or at least from the butcheries or from the supermarkets, the packets are actually marked as being Angus beef, and that's how high they rate the quality of the Angus in this country. A lot of marketing's been done. Looking at these animals, I don't think they've been oversupplied with licks. Once again, this is my gut feel. I have no background information on them. But they're beautiful, beautiful animals nonetheless. And I'm struck by how feminine the cows are. That's something that I've said is very important. You need sexual dimorphism within your herd. The bulls must look like bulls. Undeniably, you must be able to see that they're bulls. And the cows must be feminine. A feminine animal, or an animal that's more feminine, tends to be more fertile, tends to do better. And a very masculine bull that looks the way it should be will breed feminine females. There we are. He's come for me again. As I said, he's a spicy bull. But all in all, guys, there's some really beautiful animals. And as I mentioned, I like the fact that they haven't been overly conditioned for this auction. Now, I must also add, I think all the females are commercial females. They're not sold for stud purposes. I'm going to see. Guys, just hang on a sec. I'm going to see if I can get past this bull. Right, I've made it safely past the bull. I'm away from everyone so I can speak a little louder and with more enthusiasm. So here are the rest of the cows, and some of them are cows with calves. Really, guys, some beautiful animals. I think a fair representation in some cases of what commercial farming really looks like and what commercial animals look like. Once again, as I said, some animals have a slightly hairier coat, and you would need to look which breeder supplies the type of animal that ticks your boxes. Here's a beautiful little calf. One of the traits of these animals also is that they have a very even temperament or disposition, so they're easy to work with for the most part. Of course, there's always individuals that don't fall within the rules. We saw that bull right now that got a little spicy, and there's a cow up here that earlier also was a little spicy. But that's a beautiful calf, guys. That's nice. That's money. You can see, look how white his nose and snout is. So the cow has a lot of milk, and even though she's been stressed out by bringing it to an auction like this, these things happen because she's removed from her farm where she's been grazing. Even though she's stressed out a little, not a lot, she still has milk for a calf. These are bigger framed animals. I would assume they're cows, judging by their size. Here's the spicy cow I was talking about earlier. She also has a tendency to want to go for you. But that's it. 2 animals out of, what, nearly 200. But beautiful cows, nonetheless. Larger framed animals, smaller framed animals. Basically anything you could want is here. Guys, I'm not going to continue for much longer. There's just a bull that I want to show you guys if you've been watching this far. Okay, it's not this bull, but look how broad that bull is across his back. I don't know if you can see it. This is a very stocky bull. Yes, he's very well conditioned. He is. But just look at that back. Don't know if you saw that. I hope you did. Now here seems to be the smallest bull on the auction, that number 9 over there. If you want to look at high density grazing, or if you want to make sure that the size of your frame doesn't get too big, that's the bull I'd look at. If I were looking for a bull for myself, that's the one I'd look at. He's masculine, he's slightly smaller framed, he's stocky, he's got everything you need. He's a beautiful, beautiful bull. And then here, the other bull that's sharing the pen with him, a larger frame bull. Guys, these cattle are bred to produce weaners for the feedlots. They're good animals. They're perfectly suited for the purpose that they were bred. And if you were to buy an animal here today, and you are providing calves for the feedlots, you wouldn't be making a mistake, because these are really good animals. I don't think there really is such a thing as a bad breed, to be honest. I think there are breeds better or lesser suited to your system and to your way of farming. Anyway, guys, I think that's it. I'm going to call it a day, because they're going to start moving the animals around for the auction, and I don't want to be in the way. Guys, have a good one. We'll chat again. Cheers.